Alright, so here's the Triumph Street Twin. Last bike I had similar to this was the Kawasaki W650, so that's what I'm going to compare it to. That and this bike. That bike I had for the Kawasaki W650 I had for about 3 years. This bike I just bought and I just went on a ride, and I could make the comparison like pretty much right away now. This bike is fantastic right out of the box. It feels really good. Suspension is a little bit on the soft side, and I'm a really lightweight. I'm a featherweight. Geared up, fully geared up with my leather suit and everything on. I weigh no more than 160, so I'm very light. And even then, this bike feels a little bit on the soft side. But the good thing about that is that it's very comfortable, and the dampening feels all right. It doesn't feel pogo-y. Usually like you look at lots of Japanese bikes, when the suspension is really soft, the dampening is very pogo-y. So even though it's soft, it's just bouncy because the dampening is just pogo-y. This one, the dampening is actually pretty decent for a stock setup. So compared to W650, weight-wise, they feel practically the same. Handling, they feel about the same. Stock W650, the suspension was awful. The stock suspension, when I first bought that bike, that first week I was riding around, I was like, oh man, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have bought this bike. I should sell it. But I gave it a shot. I'm okay, maybe I could do something about it. So I did. I bought Hagon. I put on Hagon shocks and Race Tech gold emulator and springs, and that completely transformed the bike, and it was like a completely different bike. And after that, it handled so well, and it rode so well. And this bike feels about the same way, but that one, the spring's a little bit firmer than this one is. This one's, the spring's a little bit on the soft side. But as far as how well that one rode after I did the suspension upgrade compared to this one, it's very similar. The handling and everything, the weight, braking, all that stuff. It's very similar. This one has a slightly longer wheelbase. It feels longer. It probably is. I don't know what off the top of my head. I don't know what the wheelbase is, but the wheelbase feels longer. So it's a little bit more stable in that regards. But at the same time, turning wise, it's I think it's slightly slower, just a tad bit slower compared to the W650. Let's see. Ergonomics wise, they feel practically almost the same. The W650 originally, in the US, they came with like cruiser bars, the beach cruiser bars, really wide and swept backs. So I got rid of those and I got more standardized bars like these are, and that made the bike a lot better too. This one feels good. The W650, stock suspension and everything. The front end's I think it's kind of light, especially with the stock bars, because there's not enough weight in the front end. So it feels a little bit light, feels a little twitchy at speeds, up at freeway speeds, a little twitchy. This one, I didn't ride this one on the freeway. I just went on the back roads. I'm not sure how fast I got it up to. I probably got it up to like 60 or 70, and it felt stable, felt fine the whole time. Even hard cornering and stuff, it felt fine. So I think actually the handling on this compared to the stock, this one is like way better. But with the the stock W650, but with the W650 with my upgraded suspension, it feels on par with this. Just this one, the suspension is just a little bit softer. That's all. Let's see. So between the two, out of the box, this is definitely better for sure. And definitely more torquey. You got this 900 versus a 650, right? And this one's a 270-degree crank compared to the 360 crank on the W650. So definitely different characteristics. And I like this characteristic better. It feels more like a 90-degree V twin. So it definitely feels a little better in that regards. Let's see what else about this thing compared to the W. Fit and finish on both bikes are very good. The W650 has very good fit and finish. Same thing with this. But on the W650, everything's metal. On here, the fenders are plastic. Front rear fenders are plastic. That's about it. I think that's about the only thing that's plastic here. Actually, maybe this is. Yeah, this is plastic too. this side cover on the W650. It's actually all that stuff is all metal. Oh, I got too tight. Yeah. Let's see. Brakes. I think the brakes on this are probably about the same as the W650. Maybe a little better. Maybe, I don't know. Because this brake in the rear, the W650 is drums. I think the W650 is a little bit lighter than this bike is. Probably about 20 pounds lighter. This thing, Triumph says curb weight is 430, I believe, around there. But when it's fully filled up with gas, it's about 480. And I remember my W650 was probably around 460 or so, 450, 460, around there, around that range. So this one, pushing it, when I'm standing next to it and pushing it, it feels slightly light or slightly heavier. But when you're actually riding it, it doesn't. It feels about the same. Let's see. One thing I don't like about the Triumph is the drive chain. It's on the right hand side. I don't like that because the bike leans to the left, right? So when you oil the chain, when you clean the chain, oil the chain, maybe you have a little bit excess oil, and it'll drip right down onto the tires, onto the rear tire. So I'm not a fan of the right chain drive. I'd rather have it on the left side, so that when it drips down, it drips into the onto the ground instead. So obviously this is a modern bike with fuel injection, so that's obviously better than say the carbureted on the W650. This thing has ABS and traction control as well. I didn't, on my ride, I didn't feel the ABS kick in or the traction control kick in. I was riding at a pretty good clip. I mean, obviously a brand new bike, so I still need to familiarize myself with it to see how it feels, so I could push it a little bit harder as I ride it more. But yeah, it feels good. Throttle response is good. Fueling feels perfect. I don't feel any type of hiccup anywhere. No lean spots. Nothing. It just starts up and go, and it's good. Maybe when it's cold, it starts up and it might kind of it might not be as smooth as say some of as say my Yamaha or my Honda or whatever. But that's no big deal. And what matters is when you're actually going and moving, and I think that part of that feel might be because it's that 270-degree crank. That's it vibrates differently. But when you get going, the fueling, the throttle response feels really good, responsive, smooth. I didn't sense any lean spots or anything like that. And because of the torque on this motor, you could actually rev pretty low and not have to downshift, and it pulls you through. So in third gear, I was actually even down to like 25, and it felt fine. It didn't lug or anything like that. So I like torquey engines, because sometimes I feel kind of lazy compared to say a small displacement with no torque. You got to really dance those gears. But this one, you could be a little bit lazier about it. Let's see what else compare this to the W650. Yeah, I just think overall it's a better bike. Partly because it's more modern. It's definitely pricier. Well, actually, price-wise, it's not that much. This bike retails for what, 9,000, a little bit over 9,000. When the W650 came out, it retailed for, I think it was six something, almost 7, I think it was, and that was like almost 20 years ago now. That's like this is a 2017. The W650 was a 2000, so 17 years. You have to account for inflation. The price really hasn't changed. If the W650 was out right now, it'd probably be about the same price, maybe even more. Considering inflation. Let's see. It doesn't have a tack, so I kind of wish I had a tack, but it doesn't have a tack. But you know, it is a lower cost model. Also, the tank pads here, the knee pads. This is accessory, so stock it doesn't come with this. Same thing with these pipes. These pipes are also, you know, when you go on the Triumph website, you could do all kinds of, get all kinds of options to customize it. So these pipes were one of those options, and the tank pads was one of those options. Let's turn this thing on. You got all your usual stuff. Now it's gears in neutral, right? Gear neutral. This right here, actually, I like this. This tells you how many miles, you know, approximately how many miles you have left with how much gas you have. So I have approximately 48 miles left with that much gas at the rate that I'm going. Time. So right now it's military time. I'm not sure if they have a regular time or not. I need to check that out. Traction control on. Odometer. Trip 1, trip 2. Miles per gallon. Actually, that previous one was mile per gallon at that time, at the moment of time, and this one is mile per gallon average. So I'm probably gonna leave it on that because I really like that, you know. And you have obviously all your other stuff here. So the ABS will always blink until it actually runs. Right now I can actually hear the fuel pump running, so I'm gonna turn this thing off. It has the emergency flashers, right? So see the double blinking. The high beam is actually interesting. With the high beam, it's actually, they actually don't have a high beam staying on switch. The high beam just you flick it on and off here, but there's nothing that actually keeps it on. So I don't like that, because I ride at night a lot, and when I'm riding at night, especially in the mountains, I want to keep the high beams on so I could, you know, I could see better. So that's one downside right here. Let's see what else. It has adjustable clutch and adjustable brakes, so you adjust the reach, right? So that's cool. Let me turn this off. Actually, let's actually start it up. No, actually, no. I'll make another video of that, so you guys, I could position the camera at different spots so you guys could hear what that sounds like. So yeah, so it comes with pretty decent tires. These are the Pirelli Phantoms, I think they call them. Yeah, Pirelli Phantoms Sports Comp. So the rear one I know is a radial, but I'm not sure about the front. The front doesn't mention anything about radial. Usually when you look at the sizing, you know, like this one says 190/18. If it's a radial tire, it would say 190/18. You know, R stands for radial, so this one doesn't say it. So this might be a bias ply tire, but the rear for sure it's a radial tire. You know, it says 150/70 R17, right? So these tires are H-rated. So H-rated is good for 130 miles. So you know, so that's perfectly fine for this bike. Actually, I don't think I've ever gone faster than 130 miles. I've always had bikes without fairings, you know, without any wind protection. When I get to 130 miles, man, my neck cannot keep my head on my body. It's just my head just wants to snap back like a pest dispenser. So I have never gone past 130 before, and actually that's actually 130 indicated. So that's not even actual 130. It's probably more like 120 actual. So 130 is plenty fine for this bike. Yeah. So let's see what else about this compared to the W650. Oh well, it's fuel injected. It doesn't have a kickstart, you know, modern bike. That was my favorite thing about the W650 was the kickstart. That thing was so easy to kickstart too. I had tuned the car just perfectly, and I could kickstart it pretty much in one shot. If it was really cold, it might take two kicks to start the thing. But you know, it was warmer. The temperature was warm day. One kick, and it would fire right up. So that was cool with her. This bike, yeah, it's just a really fun bike, really fantastic bike. Definitely, yeah, a little better than W650 for sure. So for you folks, that are looking at W650 or has a W650 and you don't have it anymore, and you might plan on getting a future bike or whatever. Street Twin, man, Street Twin's the way to go. You don't really need to get the into other. I guess you could spend more money and get those other models, Bonneville or Scrambler or whatever. But you're looking at a lot more money. This is the most affordable one, and it's perfectly fine with me. All right, so thanks for watching. Let's see. Yeah, I can't think of anything else comparing this to my W650. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching.